Okay, so chat, somebody sent me this video and said that I should take a look at it. We looked earlier in this stream at a segment in regards to a journalist that was like being shot at by police completely unprovoked, and like there was no reason for it. There's no justification for it whatsoever. And now apparently this is a situation where this CNN reporter was detained by police live on air. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at this.
Oh, wait, hold on.
So this is CNN correspondent Jason Carroll. And this situation is going crazy viral all over social media.
You guys aren't under arrest because you're with press, okay?
Okay.
But we have to take...
Wait, say what? I have to run that back. I'm going to turn up the volume a bit on my end because the dogs are barking here. Did y'all hear that? Hold on. Oh, it's not rewinding for some reason. Hold up. So we got this journalist, like, just doing their job, and they get summoned by the police to speak to them.
You guys aren't under arrest because you're with press, okay?
Okay.
But we
okay, so you're not under arrest because you're with press. I've seen a lot of people stating that this journalist was arrested, which in the traditional sense of being arrested, which being booked, being charged with a crime, etc., etc. That's not exactly what happened. But they were detained and they were escorted out of this scene, and I just kind of feel like the way they were escorted out of here was a little bit unnecessary.
to take you out of the circle. We're going to direct you in the direction that you need to go.
Okay.
Do not come back, okay?
Do not come back.
Do not come back, okay?
Got it.
You'll be arrested.
Got it. This is the crew right here. Let's go.
Get your whole crew over here. Get your whole crew right here.
Yep, this is
So
it.
take a look at what plays out here. Watch what happens right here.
Take them all out one at a time so you guys all catch up at the other end.
Walk straight down this way?
We're gonna walk. Officers are gonna walk you down that way. Okay.
Okay.
So what I need from you is to put your hands behind your back. They're gonna walk you. Yeah, you hold on.
Okay. Why? Okay. All right. So I could see a situation where, like, look, the cops are looking at this journalist. They're saying that they believe that this journalist is in a very dangerous situation. They've gotten a little bit too close to the action, or whatever, right? And they're like, hey, it's kind of dangerous here. You're with the press. You're free to document, what's going on. But this place is unsafe. We need to escort you out of here because it's unsafe. Okay, fine. And they just kind of, the group joins with them and they escort them out of the area. But why is this necessary? Why are we having to have them put their hands behind their back and be escorted in this fashion? Like, this seems like an intimidation tactic by law enforcement. Like, one in the chat if you agree. This just seems completely unnecessary.
How are you? I'm well, thank you. How are you?
When our Bill of Rights gets taken away, then there's an issue for all Americans. We have freedom of speech, religion, press, etc. There was a point in time where a certain failed artist turned into chancellor who took those rights away. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's in reference to, but it seems like the majority of the chat agrees with me. Like, this isn't necessary. Okay, if you want to escort them out of a danger zone, fair enough. But what is all this? Why are we like having them put their hands behind their back as if they're some sort of like criminal or something? This is completely unnecessary.
Yes.
Jason Carroll, I've got you on the line. Jason, what's happening right now? Where are you?
Well, I'm outside the perimeter, Laura. Again, I think you heard John Miller explain it, and I think he explained it best. As I was walking over to the officer, tried to explain who I was, identified who I was with. I turned. He said,
Oh, true. That is. Sorry, I'm so out of it right now. I didn't even get that reference. That is Hitler. True. That was Hitler. Thank you for clarifying that, Mystical Death. He was so mad he failed art school. Yes, that's right. Thank you for clarifying that.
I'd like you to turn around. I turned around and I had my hands behind my back. They did not put me in zip ties, but they did grabbed both of my hands as I was escorted over to the side. They said, "You are being..."
See, they could have easily just said, "Hey, you're a little too close to the action. You know, it's a little bit dangerous. We're just going to walk you guys into a safer area." This whole, like, put your hands behind your back and let us escort you out of the area as if you're, like, some criminal who's engaged in some, like, unlawful act. Like, this is ridiculous. This is a clear attempt to intimidate the media.
Detained while we lead you out of this area. You are not allowed to be in this area. So they took...
This reminds me a lot of what they did to protesters in Seattle and Minneapolis during BLM. At one point, the MPD literally trapped a bunch of peaceful protesters under a bridge, held them in inhumane conditions, and then tried to persecute the ones who couldn't afford lawyers. That's fucking insane. That's absolutely fucking insane. Don't forget, this isn't the first time this has happened during the Trump administration. Yes, actually, Lady Zubat, when I posted this in the Discord to prepare for this segment, they shared another video of a similar incident taking place during the George Floyd protests. Let me go ahead and bring that up. We'll take a quick look at that. Thank you for reminding me, Zubat. But here's that incident.
What I want to make sure is not lost in this, as we're seeing these remarkable pictures with this law enforcement presence directly behind you, is...
in this case, it was also CNN. Holy shit.
Why people have been out on the streets protesting. Why this violence is taking place.
And we know how much Donald Trump loves CNN. Like, he's openly referred to them as fake news on numerous occasions.
There is some action behind you. Hang on.
Yep. We've got one person being arrested here. We're meeting? Yep, we're good. Yep. Hold on. I got you. Hold on. They had us here. We're speaking with State Patrol right now. Give us a second, guys. We can move back to where you'd like. We can move back to where you'd like here. We are live on the air at the moment. This is the four of us. We are one team.
See, this is the same sort of thing. It just seems like an attempt to intimidate the press.
Just put us
arrested for walking. They just tackled that chick for walking. Yeah, I mean, obviously we couldn't see like everything that happened off camera, but like, what was that for? That just seemed unnecessary.
Back where you want us. We are getting out of your way, so just let us know. Wherever you'd want us, we will go. We are just getting out of your way when you were advancing through the intersection.
Look, they're fully cooperative. This CNN correspondent has been fully cooperative during this.
So just let us know, and we got you. And this is a scene here playing out in Minneapolis. This is part of the advanced police presence that we saw come over the course of really minutes when the local police showed up at the fire department.
Why the fuck are they even holding him like that? Like, what the fuck? Like, what's the purpose of this?
The fire department, I should say, on that building we showed you that was burning. This is among the State Patrol.
He's even got his press pass there. He's part of the press. Like, what are you doing?
Unit that was advancing up the street, saying and scattering the protesters at that point for people to clear the area. And so we walked away. I'm sorry?
You're under arrest.
Okay. Do you mind telling me?
Wow. So in this case, it's actually worse. Because in this case, they did arrest this journalist. Like, in this case, like, they were detained and basically escorted off this area to, like, a safer area, I presume. But, like, this is, like, an actual arrest. Holy shit.
I am under arrest, sir. Why am I under arrest, sir?
Live on air. Unbelievable.
Okay.
You are arresting him live on CNN. We told you before that we are with CNN.
Unbelievable. And let me remind you, this is the United States of America, where freedom of the press is a thing. And this is clearly, you know, an attempt to suppress and intimidate the press. Like, there's no other way you could look at this.
If you're just tuning in, you are watching our correspondent, Omar Jimenez, being arrested by state police in Minnesota. We're not sure why.
Jesus, that's so fucking ridiculous.
Me over to the side. They took down my name. They asked me where I was from. You know, they
What was that? That was 5 years ago during the George Floyd protests.
your basic information, and I said, "Am I being arrested?" He said, "No, you're not being arrested. You're being detained." And so there's that. You know, as press,
Yeah,
you
see,
know, these are some of
that's
the-
not necessary. Again, like I've said this before, but if they want to escort him out of what they perceive to be a danger zone, fair. But like, why did they need to detain him? That wasn't necessary.
things that you know you take a lot of risks as press. This is low on that sort of scale of risks, but it is something that I wasn't expecting, simply because we've been out here all day. I've covered any number of protests, and normally there's the officers put the press realize that the press is there doing a job, so to speak. And but again, this is what happened. It did not last long. Felt a little longer than what it was, but there you have it. But we are now outside the perimeter.
Yeah, that was completely unnecessary. And I talked about this during the segment where we talked about the Australian journalist who was shot with a rubber bullet by law enforcement. Just again reporting the news. We don't really think about it all that much when we're looking at like the daily reporting by journalists. When they're talking about like the day-to-day stuff, the weather, the traffic conditions, just the normal stuff you'd see in a normal everyday news broadcast. We don't really think about it, but like journalists put their lives in danger a lot to bring us the news. And it's just kind of crazy to see, stuff like this, seeing that journalist that I referenced moments ago get shot by law enforcement for no reason whatsoever. The clip that we looked at that was recommended by Lady Zubat in the chat of the journalist that was being arrested for seemingly no reason during the George Floyd protests. And then we see this situation here where it could have been a simple, hey, we're escorting you out of a danger area, just come with us. But no, they had to like detain them and basically cart them away with their hands behind their back as if they're common criminals. Like, that's just utter insanity. So like there's no justification for this sort of thing whatsoever. This is just an intimidation tactic. It's a tactic meant to intimidate the press and to try to suppress the reporting of this information that's going on. It's utterly ridiculous.